Hey you guys, it's Molly, and the question I get asked most frequently is what do you do when you have multiple credit cards? So here's what you do. You're going to use your bills as your credit card payment, okay? So before we would have our bills and our credit card payments due, but now we're going to have our bills as our credit card payment, okay? So for example, this client, she has a credit card bill that's due $242, and then the next day she has space rent due for $883. So she was having to come up with $1,125. What she's doing now is she is going to use that space rent as her credit card payment. And so ideally, you guys, I need to point out that the credit card companies, they will tend to hold on to your payment for at least 2 days because they're getting interest off of you based off of the daily balance, okay? The average daily balance on your credit card. So if you can pay your credit card like 2 days before you're going to pay that bill, great. But if you can't, don't sweat it. So she was paying $242 for the credit card and then turning around and paying the next day $883 for a total of $1,125. Now what we're doing is we are using our bill, that space rent, to make that minimum payment. So she's going to call up the credit card company and she's going to pay, instead of $242, she's going to pay $1,006. And that number comes from the $883 in the rent that's due, the $25 credit card processing fee that the space rent is going to charge her, and then the $98 in interest that she's going to have on that credit card because she's at max utilization. So she wants to make sure that interest is not accumulating to the point where she's going to reach her limit and then be declined when she puts that space rent on there. So she has gone from an $1,125 payout to a $1,006 payout, even with her paying the interest on there and even with her paying that credit card fee. So she pays the credit card first, brings that balance down, turns around, uses that credit card, puts that space rent right back on that same credit card. The balance is not moving. She's paid it down. She's put it back on. It's not moving. All we're trying to do is just scrape whatever cash flow we can get from these credit cards and put them onto her primary card. So we're sleeping these cards. That primary card is going to get all the additional cash flow. And what we were able to do in this case study, you guys, was we were able to come up with an extra $950 by doing this method, okay, that she is then able to apply to her primary card and pay that off quickly. So she went from $1,125 to $1,006 just by using her miscellaneous bill as her credit card payment. So let me just go through that one more time so that's real clear. So she pays $1,006 on that credit card. Instead of $242, she pays $1,006. So that is the payment that she's going to have for that space rent. It's the fee that she's going to be charged for that using the credit card. And then it is the interest that she's going to be charged on that credit card. So the space rent, the credit card fee, and the interest becomes her payment. It brings that balance down. She turns around and pays for that space rent with that card. Does that make sense? Then you take that money that you saved, instead of paying miscellaneous bill and credit card payment, it's miscellaneous bill as credit card payment. That gives you a savings in cash that you can then turn around and put on your primary card. That primary card gets paid down fast. We then move the next card into the position as the primary card. We're doing one card at a time. We are sleeping all other multiple cards with our miscellaneous bills.